Okay, take two, because apparently I did this without my mic being on, which I'd always hear people say, and I'd be like, man, they're stupid. Well, I'm pretty stupid too, because I did it. All right, so I lost 100 pounds 3 times. That is true. I absolutely did lose 100 pounds 3 times. I grew up as a fat kid. Not big boned, not covered in baby fat like my elders told me and my dad told me. I was a fat kid. My dad would let me drink 10 or 12 cans of soda, pop, as we called it here in Ohio a day, because he didn't know any better. He was a single dad. The guy worked 10, 12 hours a day most of the time. And he literally thought I would thin out as I got older. That did not happen. I just got fatter and fatter and fatter. My dad was in, physically, he looked like he was in really good shape. Like, he was 175 pounds and he was ripped. Like, better shape than I am by far. And he didn't work out. I don't understand how the older generation did that kind of stuff, but that's how he was. He was a dock worker. He loaded semis with a forklift at Preston before it closed down, and then at Yellow Trucking. But he was born in 1956, and he was never fat. And he ate whatever he wanted, drank whatever he wanted. He didn't ever drink alcohol or anything like that. And by the time I was going into 9th grade, I was like 212 pounds. I remember some kid in front of me, Bobby, shit, I can't remember his last name, but he was making fun of me for being 212 pounds in the beginning of 9th grade. So that's how it was. It just continued like that. I didn't get better until I was about 19 or so with my high school girlfriend. By the time I did not graduate high school, but by the time I would have graduated high school, I was 285, maybe 300 pounds, somewhere in there. It's hard to say because literally at the time, I can remember eating so much at a sitting that the scale might go up like 8 or 10 pounds in a meal. You know, between eating and drinking, whatever the hell I was. It was like a competitive thing. I definitely ate a lot. But with my high school girlfriend and my first like career job, which was this, granite polishing, marble, granite, quartz, whatever. At the time there wasn't really quartz, but polishing all of that shit. That was my first like real job. Her and I, my high school girlfriend and I, were out partying a lot. And what was around our community, our group of friends and things, was ecstasy at the time. We, like a lot of kids, we went around and smoked a lot of pot, like in our 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever shit. Probably till I was like 30, I did that a lot. Maybe not quite that old, but that's what I did. That's what we did. And then when ecstasy came around, we went with our groups of friends and we did it a bunch. And after doing that for a while, I just beat up my immune system, I guess, and I got the flu, and I got it pretty bad. It was like a solid week, like 7 days, maybe more. 7 days of having a fever. And when I have a fever, I can't work. So I did not go into work for an entire week. And the only thing that saved me, because they were pissed. It was a small company, and I mean, they were absolutely pissed. But the thing that saved me was I left work, you know, like 285 pounds one day. And a week later, I came back and I was like, shit, 255, 265, I don't know. So I lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 pounds in the week of work that I lost. Legitimately, like 25 pounds. And I remember a guy I worked with, the saw guy, Mark Peters, one of the smartest guys I ever met, taught me a lot. He said, He's like, holy shit, you were sick. I was like, yeah, I know. Like I told you, man, I was sick. And that's what started my weight loss journey. My high school girlfriend was overweight too. Nothing near like I was. She was a little bit overweight. But we started buying books. That's what you did back then. You had the internet, but you didn't go to it for everything. It was slow, and it just wasn't built into your daily way that you would look up stuff at the time. At least that's what we did. So we went to Borders Books, I can remember, and we got a book called You, the Owner's Manual. And it was by like Discovery Health doctors, I want to say. Oh, hear that, fireworks? This is 4th of July today. Work every day, buddy. But that book helped break it down, how to lose weight, how to just, general broad strokes of nutrition, how your body works, all that. Most of it now has been disproven and is wildly different than how I would go about doing stuff today, which is why I didn't keep the weight off, and this was only the first time I lost 100 pounds, but it did work. Largely, it was just calorie counting and switching from simple carbs to complex carbs. So instead of sandwiches made with white bread, I would have sandwiches made with whole wheat bread, like real whole wheat. When the loaf would weigh like, 3, 4, 5 pounds, you knew it was like a whole wheat loaf of bread when you picked it up. And it was, had nuts and seeds and all that shit in it. So I would do sandwiches that were 300, 400 calories. I would do 3 or 4 of those a day. Had cheese and just lunch meat on it and the bread. Because I didn't do sauces, I wasn't into very many vegetables or anything. So have 3 or 4 of those, in a normal work day. And then at the time, McDonald's had grilled, they were called like Mediterranean grilled chicken sandwiches. And they were on this honey oat bread, I want to say, or honey wheat oat bread, something like that. They were amazing. It was marinated, legitimately marinated grilled chicken. And they were great. And at the time, McDonald's wasn't crazy expensive. It was like $4 for one of those grilled sandwiches, which now it sounds cheap, but back then it was like, damn, $4 for a sandwich. But they were like 300 calories or 300. They were under 400 calories if you didn't get any of the sauce on it, whatever the sauce was. And I didn't eat the sauce, so I would end up getting 1 or 2 of those sandwiches just about every day. And that was basically how I lost the weight, stuff like that. Like on the days when I didn't pack a lunch or something, I could go to Wendy's and get a junior bacon cheeseburger, and I would just count the calories. Literally, if it said that the junior bacon was 370 calories, I would add 370 calories, and I would have a day. Every day I would shoot for about 2,000 calories. And that's what I did, and that's how I went down to 180 pounds. It took me about a year, but it absolutely worked. Getting down to the 180 pounds that way was absolutely the most difficult way that I've ever lost weight, counting calories. Difficult in terms of how many balls you're juggling, essentially, because you have to count things, you have to keep track of stuff. And when it comes to labels, as you learn the game, you realize that they lie on a lot of labels. They only have to be within 5 calories. If something's less than half a gram, they don't have to put it on there. So a lot of times the thing that says 0 calories is not actually 0 calories. It's just less than 5. So they can put 0. So that means if you have 20 servings, it still might be 80 calories, because each serving was 4 calories. There's all kinds of tricks like that. When they write natural flavors, they can hide all kinds of things in that natural flavors label. This is an order for Etsy. This is I think it's called like starry quartz, something like. It's a man-made stone. It's real pretty. They have these really pretty blue speakers they're putting on this. But that's why I'm working the 4th of July, trying to finish up this order. And I have one other order I got to package. So I got to package both of them and hopefully get them shipped out tomorrow if I finish them today. But that was how the first time I lost 100 pounds basically went. I'll talk about it more. This is going to be part 1 of a 3-part series because the next time I lost 100 pounds was easier. And then this time I've been around 200 pounds 7 years, anywhere from 190 to like 225 pounds. This is like the fat version of myself now, how I'll balloon up. I've been working a lot. My girlfriend is sick, so she can't always like help as much with meal prep and things like that. Not like it's her sole job, but it's definitely helpful when she can do a lot of those things. And when she doesn't, then I'm more likely to just run to like Sheets on my way to my next job and grab like a big ass thing of trail mix, which is not really in line with how I'm supposed to be eating right now, but it's still not the worst thing. It's, you know, raisins and nuts and maybe some dark chocolate, shit like that. But it definitely swells me up, will immediately put like 5 or 10 pounds of bloat on me. But stay tuned if you're interested in losing weight, because most definitely what I do now is by far the simplest way I've ever lost weight. Ever. And it's sustainable, in my opinion. Like, I go over it with my relatives. Nobody really takes the bait because people don't like to change a lot of times, but when somebody's ready to change and they come to me, it's definitely a big change. Anyway, I love you. Have a good day.